Hey everyone, welcome to Comics with Bueller. I am Travis, and today is another creator interview, and I have none other than Tom Sniegoski. I think I got that right again, right?
You did awesome.
There you go. This is the second time I've had Tom on here, and both times I've been able to get his name right, which is always a concern of mine. Anyone who ever watches my videos knows I mispronounce names all the time, but I try to get the name right when they're right next to me, and to be respectful. So, Tom, how you doing, my friend?
Good. I'm doing really good. Keeping off the streets. I'm busy.
There you go. Do you spend a lot of time on the streets, Tom? I mean, is that what
not anymore. Not since I got a lot of work.
there you go. So the comic book writing is keeping Tom off the streets. That is the goal.
Buy my comics. Keep me from the life of crime.
There you go. So everyone, the comic we're about to talk about, the side note is buy it so Tom's not on the streets, causing
exactly.
Tom, we are here to talk about your Vampirella Armageddon book.
Yes.
Which out in the middle of July. That's what it's slated for right now. But as we all know, dates get changed and stuff like that. But Tom, let's talk about that book. Let me know what we need to know, because this is kind of a continuation from your last Vampirella book.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have read that one.
No, almost all the Vampirella stuff that I write, I try really, really hard to make it easy for somebody who may not have read previous Vampirella stories to basically get the gist right off the bat and can kind of follow right along. So yeah, that's definitely an intention of mine. But also for people who have stuck with me through all my Vampirella, and if you remember right, I started writing Vampirella in the 90s for Harris Comics. So this kind of continues what I introduced in the 90s and brought over with me to Dynamite in the last two series, which was Vengeance of Vampirella and Vampirella Strikes. So this picks up pretty much right after the ending of my Vampirella Strikes run, and just kind of picks up a bunch of stuff that was, kind of left dangling, little hints of a much bigger storyline, which we'll take full advantage of in Vampirella Armageddon.
So what are we looking at for Vampirella Armageddon? What can we be expecting?
This one is funny because each one I try to approach it a little bit different in terms of like the kind of storytelling that I'm doing. Whereas like Vampirella Strikes had kind of almost like a private investigator noir horror type feel. This one has a little bit of that, but I take it almost like a dark fantasy area, because it finds Vampirella in a location that she didn't expect to end up in, and having to kind of like pull her wits together in order to survive this new location, as well as solve this big mystery that we introduce at the beginning of the book. So yeah, it's really fun. It's really, really cool.
So you mentioned that you've been writing Vampirella for quite a long time. I mean, you have to have a connection with this character to, you were working on this, like you just said, like in the 90s.
Yeah, right? That was like some of my first major comic book work was with Vampirella at Harris Comics. I did it for I did her main book for like 3 years, along with all kinds of miniseries that spun out of the main run. But yeah, she's, out of almost all the characters that I've written over the years, she's the one I'm probably the most comfortable with. It's really, she's like a warm jacket. You just kind of like, there's all this other stuff that I work on, and I get a little agitated about, nervous. Oh, how am I going to do this right? But with Vampirella, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I just feel very centered when I write her. I just kind of like, I kind of know what I need to do with her, which is kind of weird.
And for the record, Vampirella never wears a jacket, so I mean, she's pretty.
She does wear a jacket. She does. I got her in this really kind of cool trench coat and everything like that. Oh yeah, I put clothes on her. I always get in trouble for that, but I put clothes.
Don't do that, Tom. Don't do that. I mean,
I know. I don't know. It just seems natural. It's kind of like, yeah.
So on this one, the Vampirella Armageddon, like we just mentioned, it's a standalone story. But would it be beneficial if someone went back and just checked out Vampirella Strikes?
Oh yeah. I think honestly, they would just it would just enhance the stuff a little bit more. but they mean they can start and read it and have no problem Armageddon, Vampirella Armageddon. But I think if you read Vampirella Strikes, it would just add a little extra flavor to what I'm doing in Armageddon. So, not necessary, but if you like the character enough to want to go back and take a look at the collections and stuff of Strikes, I would say go ahead. You'll have a really good time. Yeah. But again, like I said, it's not completely necessary to do it.
So this book comes out in the middle of July, and mistake me if I'm wrong, but I think the current book that you're working on wraps up in July. Is that a 6-issue run, or is it going?
No, that's a 10-issue run. So I think it might still be going at that time. I think it's still maybe another like three or 4 issues left, which is the Hercuoids.
Yes.
Yeah, which I'm totally in love with. I'm going to be very sad when the 10th issue comes out.
So we hit on the Hercuoids before. That's what we talked about on our first interview with Ben. And now I believe there's 4 issues out on the shelf right now with the,
4 is due. Yeah, 4 is due like within the next week or so, I think.
So it sounds like you're really enjoying this group of characters and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's like I said to you the previous time we talked, that those characters have been with me since my childhood. So the fact that I've got an opportunity to like add my spin to them has been just a real blast. It's been amazing. Real good experience.
Is Vampirella gonna make a cameo at all?
No, those are two. You couldn't get Father Universes. They are totally separate. I mean, if somebody asked me, "Hey, we want you to do this," I would probably put my thinking cap on and come up with something interesting. But just my natural reaction to that is no. Kind of oil and water. They kind of really, I don't see them mixing.
I find it very interesting that under the Dynamite umbrella is like Vampirella, Red Sonja, Hercuoids, and Lilo and Stitch and DuckTales.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a riot. I mean, but again, it shows the variety that the company has access to, and it's amazing. I think it's a great company you can peruse and say, all right, what do I like? Oh, there's James Bond. Oh, and there's Red Sonja and Vampirella. Yeah, you'll find if you keep looking, you'll find something that you like.
Yeah. So now that Hercuoids has been out for a few issues, what's the response been? Have you heard back from the readers and stuff at all?
Actually, yeah, the response has been really good. What's really fun is the people who don't really know who the Hercuoids are.
Yes, that's what I was on that boat.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I really enjoy because it's kind of like, they've never seen the cartoons. I mean, the cartoon started in '67, so there's a lot of comic readers who aren't familiar with it at all. But a lot of them are really kind of digging like the story and the characters. And well, who doesn't like a comic that has a rock ape? I mean, come on, that's like written for many of us.
Yeah. I saw when we did the first interview, I saw your joy that you had for the Hercuoids, and that was really cool because it's nice to see a writer have that passion about. It's already a license, or it's already a universe that's out there, and then you get a hold of it, and you're like, okay, I get to play with this, and you're really, you had that in spades.
Well, also and to respect what came before, and to kind of just put a nice spin on it that just enhances the ideas that have come before. That was the challenge that I had, is that I really wanted to take ideas and concepts and expand on them. I didn't want to throw out the sink. I didn't want to completely revamp it and change it. It didn't require that. It just needed, I think the characters in the universe just needed a little bit of just detail, a little more enhancement, which has been really fun.
Now, moving back to Vampirella, you're putting a coat on her, which is going against the grain. So, I mean, come on, man. You can't have both.
She doesn't have in Armageddon. She has the coat at the opening, but she gets caught in a vicious sandstorm, so it tears the coat apart. So she doesn't have the coat for long in Armageddon.
So let me ask you, like I said, you've been doing Vampirella for a long time. Yeah. Vampirella is a very, a lot of people know this character. I mean, there's a lot of history, a lot of different books and stuff like that. Is there ever a time to where like you think you could go over the edge a little bit, or do you think that this character is made to go over the edge?
I honestly, I think that she is like out of like a lot of the things that I've written, she's incredibly versatile. You can kind of tell just about any story you can think of with her, and I think that's what probably gives me the level of comfort that I have with her, is I don't ever feel like scared that I'm not going to be able to come up with a good story. Sure. Because she fits in so many different kinds of storytelling. It's really, really great. So yeah, over the edge, sure, take it over the edge. I don't think it would be that unusual to take her to various places, you know?
Yes. So let me ask you this, and this is something I see out quite a bit. A lot of people like to cosplay as Vampirella. I mean, that is one of the main. I mean, have you ever had like a cosplay Vampirella come up to you and be like, "Oh, I need your autograph" or something like that? I mean, because obviously the Dynamite covers. There's always a cosplay cover for Dynamite for Vampirella and Red Sonja and stuff like that. Yep. And they are, let's just say it, beautiful ladies. Doing these lovely covers and stuff like that.
Well, what's funny is when I was working for Harris doing Vampirella, I had there were two models that I was relatively good friends with, who I went on tour with. So I used to hang with these beautiful women on
the streets there, Tom.
I was working then too. That was prior to that.
Okay.
I cleaned my act up and started writing Vampirella. But yeah, so I've known and hung with a lot of these, and they're great. And what's really interesting is you go to a convention, you'll see somebody as Vampirella, and it's almost as if the character is so iconic that they're not quite 100% sure where she's come from.
Yes.
So when you say to them, "Hey, I've written the character since the '90s," you can see like the gears turning, and then you go, and she's been around since the '60s. So it's kind of like that just bakes their noodle all the more. So I think she's just such a visually striking character that a lot of people are just attracted to it.
Yeah.
And they don't quite know the history.
Yeah. And it's nice because there are so many different volumes in her books to where people, new fans, are jumping on board all the time. Yeah. Like you said, she came out in the 60s as a character that's been, has many different volumes, many different publishers have had the license and stuff like that. Yep. So there's so much to choose from. So you'll get the fans around from the 60s, and you'll get the fans that are going to attach to this book right now that you're putting out in July.
Yeah. So I think and Dynamite does a fabulous job of keeping all that stuff out there, like reprints of like the old black and white stuff from the Warren magazines and stuff. I think that's fantastic, because if anybody's curious, they just can go, all right, I'm going to start at the beginning, and they can literally go to a collection of the very first Vampirella work. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, very beautiful. So this one, like I said, we have a street date at this time at July 16th. Subject to change sometimes. So this, how many issues are we looking at for this one? Is this
right now we don't have an end. I mean, it's going to be a monthly. I'm sure we'll have a wrap up sometime, but as of right now, I haven't been given any kind of number, and I haven't plotted that far. I think I'm writing issue 5. I think I just wrote issue 5. So, I mean, so that's at least 5 months.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and it's a big story. It's a big story. So I hope they give me the room that I need to tell it.
So working on this since the 90s, is there any artist that really caught your eye that drawing Vampirella? I mean, I know the list is probably long, but is there anyone out there
that I've worked with? The people that I've worked with?
Yeah.
Oh man, honestly, the guy that's drawing Armageddon is one of the best. His name is Kuber Ball.
Oh, nice.
This guy is amazing. Matter of fact, when they asked me to do this book, I said, "Kuber draw it," because Kuber drew some issues of my Vengeance of Vampirella run, I said,
Yeah.
can Kuber do it? And they were like, yeah, I think we can do that. So I was getting ready to start, and then they were like, oh, we don't think we can get Kuber. Kuber's doing this other book for us. And I'm like, I was plotting with Kuber in mind.
Yeah.
So the look of the series in my head was Kuber.
Yeah.
So I kind of hemmed and I hawed, and they actually waited till Kuber was done with what he was working on so they could put him on my book. So I kept writing, and we waited for Kuber to be ready to take over the book. So I got my way for the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about this character. I mean, there's so many great stories, but there's also just a beautiful artwork of this character, and whether it's the interior artwork or the different covers that are available. And Dynamite always puts out a bunch of different covers. We talked about the cosplay cover, and then they'll have a bunch of other ones as well. But looking forward to it. You know, Vampirella has a big following as always. It's like you said, it's been around since the '60s. There's people who've been collecting it since day one, and they'll be jumping on this. Tom, do you have anything coming up on your schedule? Are you doing any cons this year? What's on your plate?
I think the next con that I'm doing, I think, is San Diego.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be at San Diego,
Nice.
actually with my writing partner Janine Atchison, who I wrote Vampyverse and Panther and Vampirella Dark Reflections with her. So she'll be with me. So we'll be walking around.
Oh, right on, right on. Well, besides Hercuoids, which is in stores now, we got Vampirella coming out in July. Anything else we should be aware of on the slate for you?
I think as far as comic stuff, I have some comic stuff that I can't talk about.
Okay.
They're always warning me that I don't talk about that yet, and so I'm not going to talk about that. But I do have a new novel coming out with Janine Atchison called Nira, Nira, Nira. And that'll be out in September from Bad Hand Books, which is like the first in a new series of novels with this character named Constance Evermore. So that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
Very nice. Well, the one key thing we should take from here is that there's books that you were working on that you can't talk about, which means you are working and not on the streets.
And not on the street. It's almost like they know. Give him work. We don't want him out there. We don't want him.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Yeah. Tom, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time. Everyone who's watching, please go check out the Hercuoids. It's on shelves now. Go check out Vampirella Armageddon in the middle of July. Is there anything you want to say before we go, Tom?
No, thanks for having me. Hopefully everybody will enjoy Vampirella Armageddon as much as I am, like writing it and Kuber drawing it. But thanks. That's all right. I said.
Thank you, sir, and thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to live your best life. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Take care.